So if you own your own business, there's a lot of different things to manage and take care of, and there's going to be a lot of different things on your mind. You have a lot of responsibilities, a lot of maybe people to manage, tasks to do, problems to solve. So it can be easy to forget things and become forgetful. And even for people who don't own their own business, it can be the same. It's just that business owners typically have more on the go and more responsibility. So if you are a business owner, how can you be less forgetful? I'm going to give you some tips that I use just to help you hopefully become less forgetful and better stay on top of all the things that you have to stay on top of as a business owner or a business manager, or even just any individual that's looking to be less forgetful. So I'm sure we've all done this before, where we have an idea, we have a thought, there's something we need to do. We walk into the kitchen or whatever, or into the office, and then as soon as we get there, we're like, wait, why was I going here? What was I gonna do? I forgot already. Or you have some kind of thought or idea that comes to mind, and 10 seconds later, you already forgot what it was. Or, just even being in conversation and there was something that you wanted to bring up, and once the other person's done speaking, you've already forgot about it. So it does happen, but there are some ways that you can prevent that or reduce the chances of that happening. And so the first tip I have when it comes to being less forgetful would be to utilize your phone. Whether you have an Android or an iPhone, they both have kind of the personal assistant that you can just call to just with voice commands and ask them to set a reminder for you. So I do that very regularly, especially if I'm driving or something like that and I can't really fully function my phone when I'm driving. I'll just call out to my phone's personal assistant and ask it to set me a reminder to do something in 15 minutes or 2 hours or something like that. And so maybe I'm driving, for example, and I don't really want to be texting or looking at my phone too much, but I just came up with a thought that I need to contact someone or do some type of task or look into something. I'll just say, hey, GOOGLE. I'm not going to say it out loud or it's going to activate my phone. And I'll say, set a reminder in 2 hours to call grandma, or set a reminder in 45 minutes to input gas receipt or something like that. And then I can kind of forget about it, and my phone is automatically going to send me a reminder in 15 minutes or 2 hours or even a week from now or a month from now. So I find that to be hugely beneficial, and I use it pretty much every day. I just have those task reminders in my phone and they automatically just come up on my phone once I tell them to come up. Another tip, and something I use pretty regularly, especially when I'm actually on my computer, if there's something that I need to do or something that I want to look up, but I'm currently focused on something else and want to get to it later, I'll just open another tab on my computer. So, maybe I need to do some research on something or send an email. Maybe I will open my email and kind of get that email started, and then just have a separate tab for it, and then go back to what I was doing previously. And then, later when I'm on my computer, I will realize that tab is still open, and it will remind me to send that email or to look at that website or do that research or look into whatever it was I was wanting to look into. It's just another way to kind of set a reminder for myself so that I won't forget later on, especially if I don't want to do that particular task right at that moment. The next tip is just take notes. Even if you're in conversation, when I'm having important conversations, I'll have a little notebook and I'll just make notes. If someone else is speaking for a while and they're giving me ideas on things I want to bring up, I don't want to interrupt them. So I'm just gonna, leave notes for myself and then bring it up later in the conversation. And I think that's even really useful just for, setting agendas for the day or the week. I keep kind of a daily agenda, things I need to do each day. I have kind of an ongoing agenda where I have a list of priorities and people I need to contact and things I need to do for different projects or different groups. And then I also have, besides my digital calendar, I have like a physical calendar where I will map out my month. So taking notes, making lists is a really useful way to be less forgetful and stay on top of things. And one quick thing to add to that is make sure that your notes are actually legible. Make sure you can read your own writing. It happens to me once in a while where I will take a note really quickly and I don't write it very nicely, and then I come back to it an hour later or a day later and it's like, I don't even know what that says. Even though I wrote it, I can't read my own writing. So make sure you give yourself enough detail and write clearly enough. And then the last tip I have, and this one's kind of unusual, but it's just something I'll do once in a while, where if I need to remind myself to do something and I can't think of a good option, sometimes I will just put something in a weird spot. Like, let's say I'm doing a presentation and I have my presenter remote that I need to bring, or need to bring like my gym clothes or my basketball clothes with me. I'll just like leave them on the floor in front of the door or something like that so that I can't miss them. So it might be weird to put my basketball clothes right on the floor in front of the door, but it's a great way to remind myself that I need to bring them with me, you know? Whereas if I just kind of have them tucked over to the side in a gym bag or something, then it's easier for me to forget. So that's something I utilize as well. But I utilize all those techniques on a regular basis, and they help me a lot to be less forgetful, to stay on top of things, to prioritize, to get stuff done and be productive. So hopefully those were helpful. If you like the video, you can just click like. If you'd like to check out my channel, I have a bunch of other videos on the topics of business management and business startup. And if you have a question on any of those topics, you can just leave a comment in the comment section and I will get to it there.